Hello! Welcome to Making Video Games in Bitsy with John Brown. I am John Brown. Welcome to episode number 11. This is the wrap-up. This is our kind of our conclusion about how to create video games in Bitsy. We have run through basically all the windows and should have given you enough information to create wonderful, interesting, and fantastic video games in the program of Bitsy Online. So today is going to kind of be a little bit of a review. We're going to take a look at all the windows in Bitsy, give you a couple little tidbits of information that I haven't done up until this point, but we'll take a look at that, and then hopefully you'll be off and running and have enough information to create wonderful things. So join me today and have fun. Start each project with sketches. So if those sketches are characters, right? You can have any number of characters, and they all start off with sketches. If they're characters like this, where you've got multiple characters in there, they can be whatever you want, right? And remember also to do sketches of your backgrounds. Any of those backgrounds can be thought out ahead of time. Think about what colors you're going to use and what you're going to do before you do it. It'll make everything easier once you get into the program. Got it?
All right, for our title, what do we think, guys? We have crazy happy faces, so this is going to be crazy happy game with all of our crazy happy faces. Woohoo! We're going to start off with a room. Remember, the room is basically our template. This is what people are going to see when they play your game. For my game, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms. Make sure to label those so you don't get confused. We're going to start out room number 1. I'm working with palette number 1. I could go back to blueprint. I can have as many palettes as I want here. Each room can have different palettes as well. I can click on this. I can show my walls or not show my walls so that I know what I'm doing. Next one is exits and endings. So for exits and endings, remember this is a two-way exit and entrance, so I can go back and forth between the two rooms. I can move that exit and that ending and all that kind of stuff. Remember how we put those in? One thing we did not go over is this transition effect. If I have that little gear selected and I put in wave and then I hit play, you can see with my arrow keys, my little guy transitions from one room to the other, and it's wavy. So that's one thing I kind of didn't go over. There are some things that I did not go over in this tutorial series, but feel free to experiment. You can also add dialogue as they transition from one room to the next. So don't be afraid to experiment with the game and figure out what it is you want to do. Remember when we did characters and we did tiles and sprites and items, I worked a lot in the paint, fine drawing, and colors panels, right? You can add more palettes in your colors. You can add, especially with a tile, remember I added a bunch of tiles, and then any tile you select in the paint or the fine drawing shows up in your paint, and then you can work with that, and then whatever you have selected there, you can insert into your room. Right, so you work with all 4 of these panels simultaneously. You can create walls, all that kind of stuff. So these windows are very, very important when you're building assets in your game. Click on the dialogue. So if you want to add any dialogue, right? If you want to add any script, that's all going to be in here. So if I select my my tile, say, and I click on different kinds of tiles, and I can add, or sprites rather, and I click on the sprite, I can add different dialogue in there so that when my hero, my avatar, comes into contact with other things, you can change all that. So, and then the next one on there is inventory, and I just went over that in the last episode. That means that whenever you're wandering around in your game and you collect things. Right here, you collect items right here. That'll all show up in your inventory during gameplay. So just a review of that, but we did that fairly frequently, so that shouldn't be a a surprise. Couple things I want to talk about with download. Remember now, if you are working in your game and it all of a sudden just shuts down, right? The program should have that in memory, right? So if I close out of my game and all of a sudden, boom, it goes and it closes out, and I go back into Bitsy, right? I'm going to type in Bitsy here, Bitsy Game Maker. So I just went out of the game, I just closed that window. So when I go back into the game, it should all be set and complete and exactly the way I want, because it saves it on the computer for you, right? But if you're going to start a new game, so say you go up to the tools and you want to start a new game here, you click on that, it's going to tell you starting a new game will erase your old data. I want to cancel that. So what you're going to want to do is download the game as an HTML file, right? And if I go into game data, this is your HTML data, so it'll download all of this information so that you're able to open it up again in Bitsy. So you'd upload the game, and you'd upload this data. It would give you the opportunity to upload this data right here, and then your game can come back. So every single game you do, you're going to need to download that game before you start a new one. Okay, very, very important, because you don't want to lose your work. And then remember, we recorded the GIF. We talked about recording it and doing a snapshot so you can share it with all your cool friends. Settings, remember, we just went over this fairly recently too. This is language and the HTML page color and all that kind of stuff, so that should be pretty fresh in memory. So that's basically a review of everything, just kind of a quick overview of how you do everything. I'm going to have a completed game for you guys. Hopefully that's going to be on the A.W.E website, so that you can kind of take a look at what I've done and kind of play it. Yeah, I think that's it. Tools, I'm going to erase the tools there, my crazy happy game. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about is the about right here. Now you can see this about window. I talked about this in the first episode, but I would highly recommend going to the tutorial here. So what that does is it opens up Shimmerwitch .space Bitsy tutorial. Now if there's any questions you have, I would read through this. This is all the information you're going to need to kind of start a game. So if you forget anything that I'm talking about, or you just want to kind of see it in writing, this is kind of where all the tutorials that I've done have sprung from, right? So he's got a lot of really good information. And the really cool thing about this, if you go into the tutorial site, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, he's got cool examples of cool games, right? So there's different kinds of games. Here's an example. There's a good narrative game right here, and amazing room transitions. If I go into that, the narrative, it basically brings me to another page where I can take a look at other work and other stuff that other people have done with Bitsy, and I can even play it. I'm using my arrow keys to kind of play that and do really fun things. Right? So you can play other people's games and have a look at what other people are doing, and that falls under the category of research. So the best thing for you guys to do, the best thing that I've ever done as far as an artist, is to get as much information about stuff as I can so that I'm able to do great artwork.
And the most important thing that I'm going to tell you about this whole process is right here. If you get frustrated, okay, and you don't think it's working out, take a deep breath and keep going, okay? There's no right way, there's no wrong way. So anything you do, just make sure that you have fun with it. That's what Bitsy's all about, and that's what art is all about, and that's what creating things is all about. It's about trying to do the best job you can and then being happy with what you have. So please, if you get frustrated, too frustrated to work, and you're all, I don't know how to work the program, I don't know what to do for art, then just take a break. Take your sketchbook out to the backyard, do a little drawing, or just have fun doing something completely different, and then return in a half an hour with a fresh mind, and everything is going to look a lot better. So my best piece of advice is to keep on going, and when things get too tough, take a break. All right? All right, guys, good luck. Next time we are going to take a look at some more advanced designs. I'm going to go through a couple different kind of backgrounds that you can do. Hopefully I'll finish up that game that I've been working on and be able to post that so you guys can take a look at that and any other things that I've done throughout the course of this sequence of tutorials. Hopefully you guys will get an opportunity to take a look at those and kind of mess around with those as well. So thank you for joining me. As always, make sure you go to the A.W.E page and like all that stuff, and stay tuned for one more episode coming up, and that's going to be advanced design. So thank you so much for taking the time. Hope you're having a great summer, and I will talk to you later.